Let's go Dolphins! Exclusive information has been circulating, and it could change everything you thought you knew about the future of our time. One big name is officially out of the picture, while another, unexpected one, is starting to emerge from the shadows. And there's more. The Dolphins front office is being managed strategically, quietly, and boldly. Today, the truth comes out. There's a name that many people have already mentioned, but that could indeed be on the Miami Dolphins' radar. There's also a possible new coach coming from Jacksonville with a defensive resume that impressed the entire NFL. And the most shocking thing? Miami seems to be building something much bigger than just a new coach. It's a long-term plan. A consultation has been conducted, and I have all the details for you now. But before we continue, if you're a passionate Miami Dolphins fan, don't forget to like this video. Only do that if you truly believe we can return to the top of the NFL. And comment below, go Dolphins! My heart bleeds aqua and orange. Now, let's get to the news, because this is going to surprise you. It's official, scratch John Harbaugh off your wish list. If you were hoping to see Harbaugh on the Dolphins sideline, it's time to let that dream go. The latest news from the league is loud and clear. John Harbaugh isn't just unavailable, he's fully focused elsewhere. Harbaugh just had his first in-person interview, and it wasn't with the Dolphins. It was with the New York Giants. Not only that, but all signs point to that interview possibly being his last. According to the ever-reliable Ricky Scoops, the Giants are Harbaugh's top choice. They're ready to meet all of his demands, and an announcement could drop at any moment. We're talking Tuesday night, Wednesday night, or even Thursday afternoon. Some sources even suggest the Giants don't want him to leave the building without sealing the deal. Even if Harbaugh takes a moment to honor scheduled interviews with the Titans and Falcons later this week, Miami isn't even in the conversation anymore. For a while, there was hope due to Harbaugh's connection with Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, but let's be real, the writing is on the wall. The Dolphins are likely not even getting a courtesy interview. So yeah, it's time to move on. I'm personally closing that chapter, and I suggest all Dolphins fans do the same. But just as one door closes, another one might be inching open. Matt LaFleur, yes, the current Green Bay Packers head coach. Now, before you get too excited, let's set the stage. LaFleur and the Packers were expected to work out a contract extension right after the season ended. That was the narrative. Everyone, including major outlets, reported that he'd remain in Green Bay with a fresh new deal. Fast forward to now, Wednesday afternoon, and guess what? No extension has been signed. It's still in negotiation. That's a huge deal. The Packers and LaFleur have been in talks for a while now. Adam Schefter even said on the Pat McAfee show that there's no deal in place yet. Could this just be a delay? Sure, but the longer it drags out, the more interesting it becomes, especially considering the connection between LaFleur and Miami's new GM, John Eric Sullivan. Remember, there's overlap from their time in Green Bay. So if things go sideways in Wisconsin, don't be surprised if Miami makes a call. I'm not usually a fan of trading for a head coach, but LaFleur is young, successful, and already has chemistry with the Dolphins front office. That makes him one of the few trade scenarios I'd entertain. Now, while the Harbaugh saga fades and LaFleur remains a wild card, Miami's coaching search continues with intensity. Enter Anthony Campanile, the latest name added to the Dolphins interview list. This brings the total number of official interview requests to 10. Campanile is currently the defensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and if that name rings a bell, it should. He was the Dolphins linebacker coach from 2020 to 2023. His resume is getting attention for good reason. Jacksonville's defense under his leadership was elite, top 10 in the league. They led the NFL in rushing yards allowed and didn't let a single running back gain more than 75 yards all season. That's unheard of. His schemes? Disciplined. His style? Relentless. The connection between Campanile and GM John Eric Sullivan goes back to Green Bay, where Campanile was also a linebackers coach in 2024. That familiarity could play a big role in whether he gets the job in Miami. But let's be honest, while Campanile is an exciting candidate with real credentials, there's a valid concern. Is it too soon for him to become a head coach? I'd personally like to see him build a longer resume as a defensive coordinator, perhaps over 2 seasons with consistent success, before making that leap. That's the only thing holding me back from ranking him in my top 5. Speaking of rankings, let's talk about who is in the top 5. For me, Robert Saleh is the top dog. If we're not getting Harbaugh, I'm all in on Saleh. Right behind him is Jesse Minter, the Chargers defensive coordinator, followed by Chris Shula, Jeff Hafley, and Clint Kubiak. Kubiak is the wild card here. He's only had 1 year as an OC in Seattle, but the results speak volumes. He runs a similar offensive system to McVay, Shanahan, and LaFleur, which is a plus when pairing with someone like John Eric Sullivan who knows how to build for that scheme. Now here's the key thing to understand. This next head coach likely isn't being brought in to win in 2026. This team is preparing for a reset. A rebuild is on the horizon. The real window opens in 2027, when the Dolphins will have over $100 million in cap space and, more than likely, a top 10 draft pick. Whoever takes this job isn't going to be judged after 1 season. So bringing in a young, first-time head coach and letting them grow with the roster, it makes sense. Whether it's Minter, Campanile, Hafley, or Shula, the Dolphins might be thinking long-term. let's keep this rolling, because there's still so much more to unpack. Now that we've broken down the Anthony Campanile situation and raised valid concerns about timing and readiness, let's zoom out and examine the broader strategy the Miami Dolphins seem to be pursuing. The current list of interview requests tells a very clear story. The Dolphins are heavily prioritizing defensive minds. Out of the 10 official interviews, only 2 candidates, Kevin Stefanski and Klint Kubiak, come from offensive backgrounds. That's telling. It suggests the Dolphins are considering a shift in identity, possibly recognizing that with the state of the roster and the impending rebuild, it might be wiser to lean into defense and build up from there. And when you think about it, this strategy makes a lot of sense. Defensive coaches like Mike Mcdaniel in Seattle have revitalized franchises by establishing a culture of physicality, discipline, and smart football. The Dolphins, knowing they're headed into a transitional period, may be looking for a head coach who can lay that foundation while trusting a bright offensive coordinator to develop the offense alongside. That's why names like Robert Saleh and Jesse Minter are gaining so much traction internally. And let's not overlook how methodical this process has become. Miami is taking their time. This isn't like the GM search, which wrapped up quickly with the hiring of John Eric Sullivan. The coaching search is deliberate, 1 interview a day, each one thorough, deep, and extended. Just look at how the Kevin Stefanski interview unfolded. It started Tuesday and wasn't finalized until Wednesday morning. That tells you they aren't rushing. They're sitting down for dinners, digging into personalities, philosophies, how these guys would handle the 2026 reset, and what kind of program they'd build. They did the same with Jeff Hafley the next day. This isn't just checking boxes. It's calculated. And it raises an important point. We might not have a quick resolution here. Patrick Graham is scheduled for an interview on Sunday, which pushes any final decisions at least another few days down the road. And that's a good thing. Every possible option is being explored, including the wild card scenarios. Let's circle back to Matt LaFleur one more time. The longer this contract stalemate drags on in Green Bay, the more interesting it becomes for Miami. You have to imagine someone in the Dolphins building is quietly monitoring the situation. LaFleur isn't just any coach. He's one of the few with sustained success, youth, and a clear offensive identity that's already proven in the league. And again, the connection with John Eric Sullivan is real. That familiarity can't be overstated. If Green Bay seriously considers a trade, it wouldn't be shocking if the Dolphins at least made a call to see what it would cost. And unlike with Mike Tomlin, where a trade feels excessive, LaFleur feels like someone worth considering, simply because of the upside. But here's where things get even more fascinating. If we accept that 2026 is going to be a rebuilding year, then who the Dolphins choose now matters not just for the next season, but for setting the tone for the next era of this franchise. Do they go with an experienced voice like Robert Saleh, who's seen the highs and lows with the Jets, knows how to handle media pressure, and can be a calming force in turbulent times? Or do they roll the dice on an up-and-coming name like Jesse Minter, who's drawing rave reviews for his creativity and leadership despite a short NFL resume? Then there's Chris Shula. His name is getting more buzz every day. He's been part of the Sean McVay tree, learning from one of the brightest defensive minds in the game, while developing his own defensive chops over the past 2 seasons in Los Angeles. That's not just a footnote, that's a serious credential in today's NFL, where adaptability and scheme versatility are key. The fact that Miami has him on their radar shows they're thinking about the long-term fit, not just the short-term fix. And we can't forget Klint Kubiak. He might be the dark horse in all of this. 1 season as OC in Seattle and already he's turning heads. His offensive philosophy mirrors the Shanahan-LaFleur-McVay system that's been dominating the NFL in recent years. That could be a huge advantage in aligning with John Eric Sullivan, who's shown he knows how to build a roster around that kind of system. Kubiak might be a gamble because of his limited experience, but it's the kind of calculated gamble that could pay off big, especially if paired with a veteran defensive coordinator. At the end of the day, this coaching hire is going to define the next phase of the Dolphins franchise. It's not just about who's ready to win now, it's about who's ready to build, who can install a culture, who can be the face of a young, rebuilding roster in 2026, and who can elevate